If you're not a hard-boiled capitalist or someone who likes to exploit human resources, then you can agree with me that corporate offices are super bland. They not only induce this darn existential dread, but they're also a breeding ground for uncreativity and all that evil stuff. That's why we often see it depicted in movies with the gray hallways and lifeless cubicles, because it perfectly encapsulates that burdensome process of office work. But video game offices? It's a huge understatement, but Ubisoft has a lot of fucking studios around the world. Toronto, Paris, Shanghai, Singapore, Montreal. Take any pretentious sounding city name and I bet Ubisoft has an office there. It's actually quite absurd. On one hand, it allows the business to finish games at an inhuman pace by incorporating more people on it. In AC Origins, for example, there are certain parts of the map that are solely designed by supporting studios such as Ubisoft Sofia and Singapore, which really help the development a ton. But on the other hand, it takes away the devs from arguably the most important aspect in video game development: personality. Often we hear people say that their games are soulless. And yeah, if you have an ungodly amount of studios developing different titles, or even the same fucking title, you're bound to lose some of that DNA inherent to one particular studio. Sure, you'll pump out a new AC game every single year, but the state of those games will be super variable. And what I mean by variable is you could either be successful at it, because it turns out one of your studios developed an aspect of a game that was actually beloved, or it could be one of the shittest things in video gaming history. And this variability will get to a point where you wonder and ask, is the Ubisoft behind Just Dance 2017 the same as the ones behind Far Cry? No! When they developed Assassin's Creed 3, Ubisoft was inspired by the old buildings of the Revolutionary War. This led them to make the bold decision to immerse themselves working in a derelict 19th century building. That seems pretty old.
The building is over 100 years old.
Oh. Some may think that old buildings are lame and that there's no discerning value of working in one, but in my opinion it gives the place some sense of history and authenticity. Even though it's kind of old, it's not that senile type of old. It's that Tom Cruise type of old. Hey, there's the entrance. It looks pretty cool. What the fuck is that, by the way? Elevators. The lighting though. The lighting is the key highlight here. Okay, this is bad. It's almost imperative what we experience in the morning will dictate our mood for the day. If you had a fight with your fiance or, I don't know, fucking significant other at breakfast, that fight is gonna linger for the course of the day and affect your work. A good office is designed by acknowledging this philosophy. Stepping into Ubisoft, you see this. You know, looks okay, it looks well lit and feels cozy, but then you got this. Oh my god, I mean the office looks okay, but if I gotta walk through here to get to my desk, I would fucking kill myself. Now let's compare that with Santa Monica Studio. When you enter the office, you see this giant statue of their most iconic figure, arguably the best, most recognizable figures in gaming. Plus you got this wholesome wall full of the faces of every single developer in the dev team. Compared to Ubisoft, Santa Monica at least tries something to give its developers some sense of belonging. Infer from that what you will, but I argue that the office quality has a slight effect on how developers make video games. But hey, we'll give Ubisoft the benefit of the doubt, as I always do while watching their new trailers. Whoa. Could be painted to the walls though, I'm just saying. Like, I know the developers feel at home, but come on now. This could be better. Come on now, Ubisoft. This could be better. Come on. Now, one hallmark of cool, sexy offices is a good looking cafeteria. If it looks bad, that's it. As you can see, this is what Ubisoft's cafeteria looks like. It's kind of an obstructed view, but you get the feel of it. Now compare that with Gorilla's cafeteria. I don't know about you guys, but I prefer this one more than this one. But you know, some may also prefer it here. A more laid back, traditional cafeteria with warmer colors. But if one thing my dementia-ridden grandfather always told me, I'm always right. Cafeterias are the quote-unquote suppliers of the workforce. If you don't give them an optimal eating experience, you done fucked up as a CEO. This is because non-optimal eating breeds a non-optimal video game. And for what the internet has shown to be capable of, you don't want a broken game. CDPR's cafeteria is my favorite by far. It isn't that spacious, but there is a certain cozy vibe with how they structure theirs. As you can see, they have a relatively small area for the cafeteria, but they make good use of that space. place. This may be the reason why their games are so polished. That's actually so cool. I'm not even kidding. Another hallmark of a great video game office is perceived structure. Two words that I just came up with. Now, there are lots of ways of establishing structure. Color, lighting, furniture arrangement all play a role in making structure. But one step you can take for giving your office structure is by having a central theme. A themed office feels nicer to work in because everything you see is connected and familiar. It induces this cognitive ease, which is a necessary requirement for creativity. In their Starfield showcase, Bethesda seems to go for the white woman aesthetic. Eidos Montreal goes for this pretentious architecture look that I assume was designed by a fresh graduate. Guerrilla, the IKEA look. Obsidian.
Okay. First of all, statues are great. Yeah.
When you look at Ubisoft's place, I don't know what to make of this shit. Oh my god. Look at this. Oh. That's a no-no for me. I know I'm biased because the footage you're seeing right now is as old as what Minecraft YouTubers prefer. 12 years old. The office could be renovated by now, but until I see an updated tour, I'm sticking to my judgments. Now, if you're Ubisoft, there are lots and lots of themes to choose from if you want to change it up a bit. But out of all the possible themes one can pick, what I don't expect is for someone to make a Strand-type office. Remember when I said Ubisoft games are soulless because 60 fucking studios are working on the same thing? Yeah, Kojima does that too.
I love you, Jeff.
Everyone needs help after all, and Kojima isn't particularly someone who doesn't need help. But although they got help with Death Stranding, the game still has that trademark Kojima Productions DNA. Even though it was not what gamers were expecting, one thing's for sure, it still feels like the game has soul put to it. And this can only happen when your boss knows the artistic value of video games and offices. We're talking about offices. The office comes with an honest to god hype trailer and lore. It's really unique when you watch the video trailer. What the fuck? This feels like an entrance to a CEO's mansion who just read 10 books on Buddhism. This is not an office. This is a place of worship. What's interesting is that before you enter the office, you're greeted with this oppressive Japanese building. But it's not about what's portrayed on the outside. It's about what's inside. Supergiant Games unfortunately lives in the sad state of San Francisco. But when you enter their office, oh my god. Pertaining to our 3 hallmarks of a great video game office, this one ticks all the boxes and specifically excels at the cafeteria. I don't know what the architects were on, but I need some of that, please. This is so cool. This is my IP address, my PO box, and my social security number. Now I have to say, I'm a bit biased with Ubisoft, but look at this. See, when everything is connected, you feel like your office is your second home. You suddenly forget the fact that you spend 26 hours a day working on a video game, possibly manipulated, but it's so cool. Now Japan's work culture isn't as liberated as the West, and so I have to give points to Ubisoft for freedom and personalization, but the way how these desks are arranged, it just satisfies my ape brain. It looks super nice. But as with other visionaries, the downside of being one is the failure to be practical. Just imagine the cafeteria having so many stains, and just imagine how fucking frustrating it is to go through all this shit to get to your desk. When you strip Kojima of all his pretentiousness, that's not a critique by the way, you get... As you walk in the office, you can see a lot of random shit everywhere. Fucking chairs are upside down, empty LaCroix cans, LaCroix cans everywhere, cluttered cables, ew. This shit is the most chaotic office you've probably ever seen, yet it still looks awfully nice. What Valve does so well is blending all that functionality with aesthetics. Funny thing is, I don't think the devs gives a single fuck about anything I say about offices. Unlike Kojima's office, a lot of the cool things you see in Valve HQ actually serve a functional purpose. The walls are not mere partitions, but it's also drawing boards for artists and engineers to map out their plans and draw funny shit. For all the offices you've seen in this video, not a single one of them has an adjustable desk. Except for Valve. Out of all the colors they could have painted this box with, they chose the color orange. That's kinda cute. They also have the Valve, which if you're wondering, you can turn. They also have a dedicated cafeteria floor, gym floor. You can also bring your kids to work and let them play in a Pyrovision themed playground. Of all the themes they could have chosen, the theme they eventually settled with was the one they've been familiar with all this time. In an article I found, an employee of Valve was asked why have such a relatively small team. His response was quite simple. It's to keep that same spirit that Valve had 15 years ago. To have a relatively small number of employees means to have a close-knit bond, among the dev team. Valve doesn't have any of this wall shit in their office. Everyone has their own desk in an open space without any dividers. Supergiant Games, which is I think my favorite developer of all time, also has this thematic design, and in a documentary on developing Hades, you could just observe how tightly welded their relationships are. And it isn't vague to see the effects of that in the games they've developed. Even though giving other studios part ownership of a game fits your business model and takes the pressure of approaching deadlines, the final product will ultimately be inconsistent. You know what I'm talking about. You know guys, if there's one thing I learned from making this long ass video, is that it is not known whether a great video game office ensures a quality and a good video game. But making the office livable and cool is the least you can do for all the amazing people that work day in and day out for something that'll probably get shit on when it comes out.